In the damp, musty darkness of the federal prison, the clash of metal echoed like death's whisper. Ryan Cooper, a 20-year-old man with cold eyes, sat in his cell, fists clenched. He had killed his own father at the age of 15. A single gunshot ending, years of horrific violence. His father, an alcoholic, frequently beat him and his brother. The last time, he had nearly killed Ryan's younger brother. He had no regrets. But now, his life seemed to be over behind bars. Suddenly, the cell door creaked open. A middle-aged man, Harold Fitz, walked in, wearing an elegant black suit. He was the founder of the CIA's Sierra program, which recruited inmates with lethal skills to turn them into invisible agents, not from prestigious universities, but from this hell on earth. Ryan Cooper, Harold said in a deep, calm voice. I have an offer for you, freedom from this place. But in return, your life belongs to us. Your identity will be erased. No family. No past. Ryan looked up, his eyes flashing with suspicion. Harold explained, the Sierra program chose men like him, killers who didn't hesitate, but had a conscience buried deep inside. They would train him to become a living weapon, to serve the country. Ryan thought about it. In prison, he was just waiting to die. Outside, at least he'd have a chance to live. He nodded. From that day on, Ryan became Sierra 6, the ghost agent. 18 years passed. Ryan was now a top agent with a perfect record. Harold trusted him so much that he assigned him to protect his niece, Claire, whenever he was away. Claire, a young girl with a weak heart, lived in a secure mansion in the suburbs of Washington, but Harold was about to retire. Leadership fell into the hands of Victor Lang, an eccentric man with a fake smile. Victor ran the CIA like his personal empire, full of dark secrets. Today, Victor summoned Ryan to headquarters. New mission. Victor said, his eyes gleaming, take down a data trafficking ring that threatens national security. The target is in Bangkok. Kill him. Ryan accepted the order without question. His partner was Anna Diaz, a beautiful but sharp female agent. They met at Suvarnabhumi Airport in Bangkok. Anna wore a tight black outfit, her hair tied up high, carrying a suitcase with concealed weapons. Ready? 6, she asked. Her voice full of confidence. They moved to their ambush position, a high-rise building in the middle of the bustling city center. Ryan assembled his sniper rifle, aiming through the scope. The target appeared, an Asian man, surrounded by bodyguards. Victor, watching via camera, gave the order, shoot. But then, a young boy suddenly ran near the target, laughing and playing with a ball. Ryan hesitated. The Sierra rule minimized civilian casualties. He couldn't take the shot. Can't do it. Ryan whispered into his earpiece. Victor yelled, do it now. Ryan put down the rifle and acted on his own. He activated a silent fire alarm, and sirens blared through the air. The crowd panicked and scattered. The power went out, and the target, on alert, quickly retreated. Ryan jumped from the high floor, grabbing onto a rope, and plunged into the chaos. He used close-quarters combat. A spinning kick took down the first bodyguard. While he snapped the neck of the second, a pistol fired. But he dodged the bullet and plunged a knife through the third man's chest. Anna joined in, providing sniper cover from a distance in perfect coordination. The target ran outside, and Ryan gave chase, leaping from a rooftop down to the street. The two faced off in a dark alley. The target suddenly lunged, blocking his moves with karate. Ryan realized This was Marcus Reed. Sierra 4, his former comrade. They fought fiercely. Hook punches. High kicks. Grappling on the ground, Ryan drew his knife and mortally wounded Marcus. Before dying, Marcus whispered, "I came from prison just like you. Victor is a bastard. The secret is on this USB drive. Kill him, or you're next." Marcus handed him a necklace containing the USB drive, then took his last breath. Ryan left the scene, his heart pounding. Victor sent men to search Marcus's body, but they found nothing. Victor called Ryan, "Bring the USB drive back." Ryan pretended to agree, but he was suspicious. He tried to open the USB at a nearby internet cafe, but it was encrypted. Without a password, it was useless. Anna called Rendezvous immediately. On Victor's orders, Ryan refused, hid the USB in a secret place, and threw away his old phone to avoid being tracked. He contacted Harold on a backup phone. Harold revealed he had been pushed out of the agency by Victor to cover up secrets. He arranged a secret flight for Ryan to meet him, but Victor found out and sent Bradley Crowe, the mad dog assassin, after him. Bradley, with a crazed smile, accepted the mission along with his assistant, Susanne Brever. Ryan boarded the plane, but Harold's special ops soldiers turned out to have been bought off. They attacked. Ryan sprang up, using a fire extinguisher to smash the first man's face. A smoke bomb exploded, obscuring his vision. He used jiu-jitsu to grapple, breaking the second man's arm, and shot the third with his pistol. The plane shook violently, and the panicked pilot made an emergency landing. He threw his enemies out, but the plane's wing exploded. He parachuted out, clung to a soldier who had a parachute, cut his lines with a knife, and landed safely. Harold, called Claire, has been kidnapped. Bradley threatened hand over the USB drive. Ryan refused. The hunt had begun. Which area are you listening to this story from? And what time is it where you are right now? Leave a comment below so I know you are still healthy and fully focused on this story. My dear friend, we will continue right after this. Ryan Cooper landed on the hard ground, his body aching after the perilous parachute jump. He rolled to break his fall. Bradley Crowe's threat still echoing in his ears over the phone. Hand over the USB. Or Harold's Nisadis. Ryan clenched his fists, his thoughts in turmoil. What was on that USB drive that made Victor Lang so desperate he was no fool? 18 years as an agent had taught him that trust was a luxury. Now, he had to act alone. Before Victor's hounds found him, he ran through the forest near the airport, his breath ragged. His backup phone vibrated. It was Harold calling back. "Ryan, Victor knows everything. He pushed me out to hide his shady data. That flight was a trap. Claire, they've taken her." Harold's voice trembled with pain. Ryan gritted his teeth. Claire, the girl with the weak heart whom he had protected like a little sister. He couldn't let her die. "I will save her," he promised, his voice firm. But first, he needed to decrypt the USB drive. Ryan went to a small internet cafe on the outskirts of Bangkok, where neon lights flickered in the dead of night. He plugged the USB drive into a computer, his fingers typing rapidly. The screen displayed high-level encryption. "Password required. Damn it," he muttered. Marcus Reed had tricked him, giving him the drive without the key. But Ryan didn't give up. He recalled Marcus's words, "Victor is a bastard." Perhaps the password was related to Victor. He tried a few variations. Nothing. Time was running out. Suddenly, his phone vibrated. It was Anna Diaz. "Ryan, Victor has ordered an immediate rendezvous. He suspects you." Ryan hesitated. Anna was his partner. But where did her loyalty to the agency lie? He turned off the phone, hid the USB drive in his necklace, and tossed his old phone down a sewer drain. He bought a new SIM card and contacted Harold. "I need to see you. Somewhere safe." Harold arranged a meeting point in Prague. Europe, neutral territory. But Victor had already sent Bradley Crowe, the notorious assassin known as the Mad Dog, to hunt him down. Bradley, at CIA headquarters, smirked as he received his orders. "Get the USB. Kill Ryan." Victor added, "You'll have your assistant, Susanne Brever, for support." Bradley nodded, a vicious glint in his eyes. He was a former mercenary who specialized in torture and manhunts. His lair was in France, an old castle in the Normandy region, where he had built a network of assassins, but this time he moved quickly to Bangkok. On Ryan's trail, Ryan boarded the flight to Prague. But Harold's special ops soldiers were waiting. They were the elite, tall, muscular, and trained in martial arts. The plane took off, and Ryan sat still. But a sense of unease washed over him. Suddenly, the first man lunged at him with a karate chop. Ryan dodged, delivering a Muay Thai hook kick to his stomach. Hearing the crack of breaking bones, the second man drew a pistol and fired. Ryan rolled, snatched the gun, and fired 2 shots back into his chest. Blood splattered everywhere. "Ciao spread." The third man used jiu-jitsu to tackle Ryan to the floor. They grappled, and Ryan caught him in an armbar, snapping his arm. The fourth man threw a smoke grenade, obscuring their vision. Ryan used a fire extinguisher to smash his head, then fired through the smoke. The pilot panicked. Emergency landing. The plane shook, and a wing exploded after taking a hit. Ryan jumped out the door, clinging to a soldier who had a parachute in midair. He used his knife to cut the man's lines and landed safely in a Czech forest. Harold called. "Claire's been taken in France. They're using her as bait." Bradley snatched the phone. "Give me the USB, and I'll let her go." Ryan scoffed. "In your dreams." He decided to go to the home of a former agent in Prague to get a new identity, but it was a trap. The former agent pushed Ryan down a dry well, laughing. "The agency has a high price on your head." He fell freely, hitting the bottom of the well with a painful thud. He looked up and saw his own wanted poster with $1 million bounty. Victor wasn't sparing any expense. He broke a water pipe, and the water began to rise. Then he set a small mine and waited. When Bradley's men arrived, he detonated it, and the top of the well exploded. Ryan burst out like a wild beast, taking down 2 men with his pistol. Bradley appeared, firing a rifle. Ryan dodged, used a taekwondo kick to send his rifle flying, and landed a flurry of punches to his face. They fought fiercely. Bradley used boxing hooks, and Ryan countered with kung fu blocks. A high kick landed on Bradley's chest, forcing him back. Anna suddenly appeared, shooting him twice in the leg. "Get in the car," she yelled. Ryan followed. But in the parking lot, Anna injected him with a sedative. He woke up in the car, tied up. "Why?" he asked. Anna explained, "I know the truth. Victor wants to kill every agent who knows his secrets." They arrived at the home of a former director in Vienna, Margaret Hale, who had left the agency out of disgust for Victor. Ryan had already sent the USB drive here. They opened the drive. It contained proof that Victor was trafficking data, turning the CIA into his personal killing machine. There were powerful forces behind him. "This has to be exposed," Margaret said. Meanwhile, Bradley was torturing Harold in France. "Tell me where Ryan is." Harold gritted his teeth through having his fingernails pulled out. But when they threatened Claire, he broke. "The USB is in Vienna." Bradley laughed maniacally and sent his assassins. Ryan and Anna were at Margaret's house when suddenly the windows shattered from gunfire. Assassins stormed in. Margaret pushed them into the cellar, then ignited the gas. blowing up the house. Ryan escaped, only to be surrounded by the police. He pretended to surrender, then used Aikido to throw two officers. Snatching a gun and running, he ran to a large square in Vienna, his heart pounding in his chest. Now, he was a target for the entire underworld. Victor Lang sat in his dark office at CIA headquarters, his fingers drumming a rhythm on the wooden desk. His face was contorted with rage. Ryan Cooper had betrayed him, hiding the USB drive, cutting off all contact. He knew the data on it could bring him down, exposing his secret dealings and his transformation of the agency into a personal tool. He picked up the phone, his voice cold. "Bradley Crowe. You work for me now. Get the USB. Kill Ryan. Money is no object." Bradley, from his lair in France, chuckled over the line. "Whatever you say, boss. I love a good manhunt." Bradley Crowe was no ordinary man. He was a former mercenary, powerfully built, with bloodshot eyes like a mad dog. His lair was an old mansion in the Provence region of France, where he trained assassins and made his plans. Victor hired him because Bradley knew no fear. He had an assistant, Suzanne Brever, a brilliant but ruthless woman who calculated every move. "Start with Harold Fitz," Bradley ordered. "That old man knows where Ryan is." In France, Bradley stormed Harold's home. His men seized Claire, a 12-year-old girl with blonde hair and a weak heart. Claire screamed as they tied her up, her pacemaker beeping erratically. Harold, beaten to the ground, watched his niece with a heart torn by anguish. "What do you want?" he asked, blood trickling from his mouth. Bradley smiled. "The USB drive from Ryan, or the girl dies." Harold gritted his teeth. He had founded Sierra, turning inmates like Ryan into agents. Now, he was being betrayed by his own organization. Bradley tortured Harold, pulling out his fingernails with pliers, his voice echoing, "Speak." Old man Harold endured, drenched in sweat. But when Bradley pressed a knife to Claire's throat, he broke. "The USB is in Vienna, with Margaret Hale." Harold wept, the weight of betrayal crushing him. He had sold out Ryan to save his granddaughter. Satisfied, Bradley immediately dispatched a team of assassins to Vienna. Ryan, at that moment, was running through Stephansplatz Square in Vienna. His heart pounded wildly, sweat soaking his shirt. After the explosion at Margaret's house, he was being pursued by the police. He slipped into a crowd of tourists. But suddenly, 3 teams of assassins appeared. They were Bradley's mercenaries, dressed in black, handguns concealed in their jackets. They surrounded the square, turning the peaceful place into a battlefield. The first man lunged, using boxing to punch straight at Ryan's face. He dodged, used Muay Thai to deliver a low kick to his knee. Hearing the bone shatter, the second man fired a handgun, a bullet whizzing past his ear. Ryan rolled behind a statue, snatched the gun from the first man's body, and fired back 2 shots into his chest. Blood splattered as the crowd panicked and scattered. Ryan used jiu-jitsu to take down the third man, choking him unconscious. But there were more of them, 10 men, unleashing automatic rifle fire. Ryan took cover behind a solid stone wall as bullets rained down. He grabbed an AK from a fallen enemy and fired with precision. The fourth man's head exploded. "Damn it," he muttered. Thinking of Claire, he had to live to save her. A truck sped toward him, aiming to crush him. Ryan leaped onto the hood, stabbed his knife through the windshield, and pulled the driver out. The truck crashed into the group of assassins, crushing 3 of them. He drove off, but the assassins gave chase on motorcycles. A dramatic chase unfolded on the streets of Vienna. Ryan rammed the truck into the first man's motorcycle, sending him flying. The second man fired a pistol. The bullet shattering the rearview mirror, Ryan swerved, delivering a karate chop to the man's arm through the window. The car overturned, and Ryan jumped out, rolling to dodge the bullets. He ran to a nearby train. Leaping into the last car, the assassins climbed aboard, attacking with kung fu, high kicks and a flurry of punches. Ryan countered with taekwondo, kicking one man clean off the train. The train sped up, the wind screaming in his ears. The assassins brought heavy weapons. A machine gun unleashed a torrent of bullets, riddling the car with holes. Ana Diaz appeared from the car ahead, providing covering fire. "Ryan, jump!" she yelled. They coordinated their attack. Ana sniped with a handgun while Ryan engaged in close-quarters combat. One man used Aikido to throw Ryan, but he countered with an armbar, breaking his arm. The train derailed from a rocket blast, slamming into an old building. Ryan and Ana jumped out, landing in her car. They drove to a nearby hospital to treat their wounds. Ryan used a tracking device to pinpoint Claire's location via her pacemaker. The signal was coming from France. "They're there," he said, his voice thick with rage. But the assassins found them at the hospital. The first one burst into the room, throwing a boxing punch. Ryan dodged, using jiu-jitsu to apply a chokehold. They struggled, shattering tables and chairs. Ryan was stabbed in the shoulder, blood gushing out. He grabbed the USB from his pocket, but the assassin temporarily snatched it from him. Ana fired from outside, providing cover. Ryan used a defibrillator to shock the assassin, who convulsed and collapsed. But he was exhausted, badly beaten. The assassin grabbed the USB and ran, firing wildly as he fled. Ana pursued in a police car, firing a rifle. "Out of ammo," she yelled, but still rammed her car to block his way. Ryan and Ana ran into a nearby veterinary clinic to patch themselves up. There, they opened up to each other. "Why did you kill your father?" Ana asked. Ryan explained his father was violent and had killed his younger brother. He shot him to survive. His voice trembled, his eyes bloodshot. Now, he had to save Claire, just as he had tried to save his brother all those years ago. Bradley, in France, received the USB from the assassin. He opened it. His face went pale. It was evidence of Victor's crimes. But he laughed. "I will use this." He dispatched more assassins to Vienna, determined to kill Ryan. Ryan stood up, ready. The fight had only just begun. Darkness enveloped the veterinary clinic on the outskirts of Vienna, where the smell of antiseptic mingled with the scent of dried blood. Ryan Cooper sat leaning against a wall, his hand bandaging the stab wound on his shoulder, his mind lost in thoughts of the past. His father, a violent man, had plunged him into this hell. Now, Victor Lang was doing the same thing, turning him into prey. "We have to move," Ryan said, his voice hoarse. Ana Diaz nodded, her eyes glinting with determination. They knew Bradley Crowe was closing in, with the USB in hand and a team of assassins at the ready. They left the clinic, driving through the dark streets toward Prague. Ryan chose this place because of an old former agent, a man who had once promised to help him change his identity, to create fake documents for him to flee to another country. He's trustworthy, Ryan thought, but his heart was filled with doubt. The car glided smoothly down the highway, the night wind blowing through the window. Ana spoke of her past, a female agent used by Victor, who witnessed her comrades die for nothing. "I'm on your side," she whispered. Ryan nodded, but his hand remained tight on his gun. Arriving in Prague, they stopped in front of an old, weathered house in the old quarter. The ex-agent, named Elias Grant, opened the door with a false smile. "Ryan, come in. I'll help you." They sat in a pitch-dark living room as Elias retrieved fake passports. But suddenly, Elias shoved Ryan into a cellar, a deep, dry well. Ryan fell into a freefall, crashing onto the hard stone bottom in agony. "It's a trap," he yelled. Elias laughed from above. "The organization has a high bounty on you. Victor pays handsomely." Ryan looked up at the mouth of the well, his heart pounding. Water dripped from an old pipe. He broke the pipe, and the water slowly rose. Then he took a small mine from his pocket, a backup plan, and placed it against the wall. He waited for Bradley's men to come check. Footsteps echoed. He triggered the explosion. Boom! The mouth of the well exploded, sending rock flying. He climbed out like a phantom, using a handgun to take down the first soldier. A bullet through the head. Bradley Crowe emerged from the shadows, his hulking frame, his eyes bloodshot. "You're a tough one to kill." He laughed manically. Bradley lunged, throwing a powerful boxing hook. Ryan dodged, delivering a high taekwondo kick to his chest. Hearing the crack of bone, they grappled on the floor. Bradley put Ryan in an armbar, but he used jiu-jitsu to reverse the hold, landing a flurry of punches to his face. Blood gushed from Bradley's nose. He pulled a knife, slashing horizontally. Ryan dodged, the blade grazing his shoulder, drawing blood. He pulled the pin on a grenade, throwing it towards the backup soldiers. It exploded, sending 3 men flying. Bradley chased Ryan out the window. Ryan jumped down to the street, rolling to dodge bullets. Anna pulled up in the car, firing 2 shots into Bradley's leg. "Get in," she yelled. Ryan jumped into the car. But in the parking lot, Anna injected a sedative into his neck. "Sorry. Had to be sure," she said. Ryan collapsed, his world spinning. Waking up, Ryan found himself in the home of Margaret Hale, the former station chief in Vienna. "You sent the USB to me," Margaret said, her voice calm and steady. They opened the USB evidence of Victor trafficking national intelligence and murdering agents who opposed him. "He has powerful allies in France and Spain," Margaret warned. Ryan nodded, his heart heavy with worry for Claire. Meanwhile, in a ville in France, Bradley tortured Harold further. Ryan is in Vienna. Harold confessed under the whip. Bradley immediately sent assassins. They stormed Margaret's house, bullets shattering the windows. Margaret pushed Ryan and Anna into the cellar. She ignited the gas line, and the house erupted in a fiery inferno. Ryan escaped through a back alley, only to be surrounded by police. He feigned surrender, then used Aikido to throw down 2 officers, snatching a gun and running. Reaching a square, he was nearly run down by a car, but dodged just in time. The police gave chase, cuffing him to a post in the middle of the square. Bradley's assassins arrived, 3 teams, unleashing a hail of gunfire. Bullets rained down, and a police car exploded. Ryan jerked the cuffs, shattering the lock with a powerful karate strike. He grabbed a rifle and fired with precision. The first man's head exploded. They engaged in close combat with kung fu, and one of them threw a hook kick. Ryan blocked, using a Muay Thai elbow strike that shattered his jaw. The rain of bullets continued. He took cover behind a wall, firing back. A car charged at him in a suicide run. Ryan leaped onto the hood and stabbed the driver with his knife. He escaped onto a nearby train. The assassins climbed after him, fighting on the train's roof. The wind howled as one of them threw a boxing punch. Ryan threw him off. They brought machine guns and unleashed a spray of bullets. The car was riddled with holes. Anna drove parallel to the train, providing covering fire from outside. Ryan used Taekwondo to kick the last man off. But the train derailed from a rocket, crashing into an old building. Ryan and Anna jumped out. Landing in her car, they raced to a hospital, using a tracker to locate Claire in Spain, Bradley's second stronghold. But assassins attacked the hospital. Ryan fought back, using jiu-jitsu for chokeholds and firing a handgun. Stabbed in the hip. He used a defibrillator to electrocute his foe. The assassin grabbed the USB and fled. Anna gave chase, ramming her car to block his escape. They patched themselves up at a veterinary clinic, sharing an emotional moment. Ryan thought of his lost younger brother, tears streaming down his face. "I have to save Claire," he said. Bradley, in France, looked at the USB and laughed. "Victor, you are finished." But he sent more assassins. The hunt continued. Ryan stood up, ready to face the enemy in their stronghold. Stephansplatz Square in Vienna glowed under the afternoon sun, with tourists laughing around the ancient cathedral. But for Ryan Cooper, this place was hell. He ran to the middle of the square, panting heavily, the sound of the explosion from Margaret's house still echoing in his ears. The police had cuffed him to an iron post in the center, thinking he was a criminal. Ryan tensed his muscles, his eyes scanning the area. He knew Bradley Crowe wouldn't miss this opportunity. And sure enough, 3 teams of assassins emerged from the crowd. They were dressed in black, their faces emotionless, guns hidden inside their coats. The first man lunged, using boxing to punch straight at Ryan's face. He jerked at his cuffs, shattering the lock with a karate chop. The sound of metal snapping echoed. Ryan dodged the blow, using Muay Thai to deliver a low kick to the man's knee. A sickening crack of bone. The second man drew a handgun and fired. Ryan rolled behind the post, snatched the gun from the first man's grasp, and fired back 2 shots into his chest. Blood sprayed, and the crowd scattered in panic, their screams filling the air. The assassins unleashed a barrage from their automatic rifles, bullets raining down like a storm. Ryan took cover behind a solid stone wall, his heart hammered against his ribs. He picked up an AK from a dead enemy and fired with precision. The third man's head exploded. There were more than 10 of them, using kung fu for close combat. One threw a high kick. Ryan blocked with Taekwondo, then used an elbow to shatter his jaw. The bullets kept flying, and a nearby police car exploded from a rocket impact. Ryan zigzagged across the square, dodging bullets. A truck sped towards him on a suicide run, intending to crush him. He leaped onto the hood, stabbed through the windshield with his knife, and pulled the driver out. The truck plowed into the assassins, crushing 3 of them into a bloody mess. Ryan drove away, but the assassins pursued on motorcycles, firing their handguns relentlessly. A bullet hit the rearview mirror, shattering the glass. On the narrow city streets, a dramatic chase unfolded. Ryan jerked the wheel, ramming the first motorcycle and sending its rider flying into a wall. The second man attempted a karate chop through the window, but Ryan dodged, applied a chokehold, yanked him into the cab, and smashed his face. The truck flipped from the impact. Ryan jumped out, rolling to dodge the hail of bullets. He ran to the nearby train station, leaping into the last car of a departing train. The assassins climbed onto the train's roof, the wind whistling in their ears. The first man lunged, throwing a boxing hook. Ryan wrestled him off the train, sending him falling to the tracks for an instant death. They carried machine guns, spraying bullets. The train car was riddled with holes as passengers screamed in terror. Ryan used a Taekwondo kick to send the second man flying, then fired his handgun from the hip, hitting the third one straight through the heart. The train sped through the outskirts of Vienna, the scenery a blur. An assassin used Aikido to throw Ryan down on the roof, and they rolled dangerously close to the edge. Ryan caught him in an armbar, snapping his arm before pushing him off. But they had heavy weapons. One of them fired a rocket, derailing the train and sending it careening. A car slammed into an old building by the tracks, shattering glass as thick smoke billowed everywhere. Ryan leapt through the air, landing on the hood of Ana Diaz's car. She had been driving alongside, providing support. "Get in. Now," she shouted, her voice laced with anxiety. The car sped away, leaving the wreckage behind. They drove to the nearest hospital, blood dripping from Ryan's wounds. In the emergency room, Anna bandaged him, her hands trembling slightly. "You almost died," she said, her eyes welling up. Ryan used a tracker on his phone to locate Claire via her pacemaker. The signal came from a villa in Spain, Bradley's second safe house. "They moved her there," he said, his voice filled with anger. But before they could leave, assassins attacked the hospital. The first one burst into the room with a karate chop. Ryan dodged, applied a jiu-jitsu chokehold, and heard the man's neck snap. They grappled, breaking tables and chairs. Ryan was stabbed in the buttock, bleeding heavily. He snatched a USB drive from the assassin's pocket. The man had brought it to gloat, but the other man snatched it back and fled into the hall. Anna gave chase in a commandeered police car, firing a rifle. "No more bullets," she shouted, but still rammed the car to block his path. The assassin rolled over the vehicle, dropping the USB drive. Ryan retrieved it, but took a severe beating. They took refuge in a nearby veterinary clinic. Locking the door behind them, Anna dressed his wounds in the tense silence. "How did you get into this business?" she asked softly. Ryan told her about his father, a violent man who had killed his younger brother. "I shot him to survive. Now, I survived to save people like Claire." A tear streamed down his face, the first emotion he had shown. Bradley, in France, heard the news of the failure. He flew into a rage, slamming the table. Kill him in Spain, he dispatched more assassins, determined to retrieve the USB drive. Victor called him. "Do it quickly." "Bradley, the secret must not be revealed." Ryan and Anna left the clinic and drove towards Spain. He thought of Claire, his heart heavy with worry. The battle was heading to the enemy's den, where it would all come to an end. The strong smell of antiseptic in the Vienna veterinary clinic made Ryan Cooper grimace. He sat on an old examination table. The bleeding from the stab wound in his buttock had stopped, but a sharp pain remained. Ana Diaz bandaged him, her movements quick, but her eyes filled with concern. "How did you survive that fight?" she asked, trying to keep her voice calm. Ryan did not reply, his gaze lost in the distance. The image of his brother's death at their father's hands flashed in his mind. The sound of that old gunshot still rang in his ears. He clenched his fists, determined to save Claire and atone for the past. Anna touched his shoulder, her voice gentle. "Why this life?" "Ryan, killing, running, with no one to even remember your name." Ryan took a deep breath and began his story. "My father was a monster. He beat my brother and me every night. One night, he went too far, and my brother died. I was 15 years old when I shot him. I have no regrets. But it sent me to prison. Harold Fitz got me out and gave me a purpose." Anna nodded, her eyes welling up. She had her own scars. Her teammates were sold out by Victor Lang on a mission in Kabul. Ryan turned on the tracker, and the signal from Claire's pacemaker led to a villa in Spain, near Barcelona. Bradley Crowe moved the kid there, he said, his voice seething with anger. Anna checked her gun and nodded. "Let's go." They left the clinic, driving through the night towards Spain. The car raced along the highway, its headlights piercing the fog. Ryan checked his handgun, preparing himself for the battle ahead. Once in Barcelona, they stopped at a private hospital for more intel. Ryan hacked into the pacemaker's network, confirming Claire was being held at a villa in the Costa Brava hills of Spain, Bradley's second safe house. But as they left the hospital, Assassin struck. The first man charged from a back entrance with a karate chop. Ryan dodged, put him in a jiu-jitsu chokehold, and snapped his neck instantly. A second man fired a handgun, the bullet whistling past Ryan's ear. Ryan rolled, pulled a knife from the first corpse, and threw it squarely into the second attacker's chest. Chows erupted. A third man lunged with a boxing hook. Ryan blocked with a taekwondo kick, landing it high on the man's chest with a sickening crack of bone. He was stabbed in the shoulder, blood pouring from the wound. From outside, Anna took down two more with her sniper rifle. Ryan snatched the USB drive from an assassin's pocket. They were carrying it as a trophy, but another enemy grabbed it and fled down the hall. Ryan gave chase, using a low Muay Thai kick to take him down. He retrieved the USB, but took a vicious beating. A punch to the jaw sent him reeling. Anna rammed the stolen police car into the exit, blocking the assassin's escape. He threw the USB drive on the ground and ran off. Ryan picked it up, only to be stabbed in the buttock by another attacker. He roared in pain, grabbed a defibrillator from an emergency cart, and shocked his assailant, who convulsed and collapsed. Anna pulled Ryan into the car, and they fled the hospital, leaving chaos behind them. They stopped at an abandoned warehouse near the Barcelona port. Anna bandaged his wounds, her expression anxious. "Are you all right?" she asked. Ryan nodded, though his body ached with fatigue. He plugged the USB drive into an old laptop he found there. It was still encrypted. "Marcus Reed played me," he muttered. Anna touched his hand. "We'll figure it out. Claire needs you." Ryan shared more of his past. "My brother died because I wasn't fast enough. I won't let Claire meet the same fate." Anna confided in him as well. "I lost my team because of Victor. He's turned the CIA into his own killing machine." They looked at each other, an invisible connection forming between them. Ryan stood up, checking his gun. "To the villa. Let's end this." At his villa in France, Bradley tortured Harold Fitz. "Where is Ryan?" he snarled, pulling out Harold's fingernails with a pair of pliers. Harold clenched his jaw. But when Bradley put a knife to a picture of Claire, he broke. "He's going to Spain." Bradley cackled and dispatched a heavily armed hit squad to Barcelona. He reviewed the data from the USB, seeing the evidence of Victor's crimes, selling data, murdering agents. "Victor, you are so dead," he mumbled, deciding to keep the data to blackmail him. Ryan and Anna reached Costa Brava, Spain, and concealed themselves in the forest near Bradley's villa. They observed the patrols, guards armed with machine guns. Ryan assembled a sniper rifle, preparing for infiltration. But they were suddenly spotted. A guard rushed them with a high kung fu kick. Ryan dodged, using an aikido throw to take him down and break his arm. Anna shot from a distance, dropping two more guards. They charged in, handguns blazing as bullets rained down. The villa was rocked by grenades. Ryan used Muay Thai to shatter a guard's face, then picked off targets from the stairs with his sniper rifle. Anna cleared a hallway with her rifle, taking down 3 men. They found Claire tied up in a room. Ryan cut her free and hugged her. "You're safe now." But then Bradley appeared, a maniacal grin on his face. "Hello, Ryan," he said, a machine gun in his hands. Ryan pushed Claire behind him and lunged at Bradley. They fought furiously, Bradley throwing boxing punches while Ryan countered with taekwondo. A hook connected with Ryan's jaw, but he delivered a low kick that sent Bradley to the floor. Anna fired to cover him, but Bradley tossed a smoke grenade and fled. Ryan grabbed Claire and ran out, knowing the true fight was yet to come. The villa in the Costa Brava hills of Spain was bathed in moonlight, its old stone walls silent in the dark. Ryan Cooper held Claire close. She was trembling, and her pacemaker beeped softly. He and Ana Diaz had just broken through Bradley Crow's encirclement, but this villa, his second safe house, remained a kill zone. Ryan scanned the corridor, his handgun ready, listening to the guard's footsteps. "Anna, watch Claire," he whispered. She nodded, her rifle at the ready. They needed to find Harold Fitz and stop Victor Lang for good. Ryan moved deeper into the villa, evading the security cameras. A guard lunged with a karate chop. Ryan sidestepped, caught him in a jiu-jitsu chokehold, and snapped his neck instantly. He silently eliminated 2 more guards with his knife, their blood dripping onto the stone floor. Anna followed with Claire, staying back. They found Harold in a basement cell. He was bound, his face a mess of bruises and dried blood. "Ryan," Harold whispered weakly. "Victor. He's behind it all." Ryan cut the ropes and helped Harold to his feet. "Where is Claire?" Harold asked, his eyes wide with panic. "She's safe," Ryan answered. Just then, an explosion echoed through the villa. Bradley's men had found them. Ryan shoved Harold and Claire behind him and tossed a smoke grenade. Through the thick smoke, he charged, breaking the first guard's leg with a low Muay Thai kick. A second guard fired a machine gun, shredding the wall. Ryan rolled and fired back with his handgun. 2 shots to the chest dropped the man. From a concealed position, Anna took down 3 men with her sniper rifle. "The exit is that way," she shouted. They sprinted down the corridor, but their path was blocked by guards. Ryan shattered one man's jaw with a high taekwondo kick. He wrestled with a second, throwing him with an aikido move and then driving a knife through his heart. Blood splattered everywhere, and Claire screamed in fear. Harold pulled his granddaughter close, shielding her eyes. They made it to the backyard, but Bradley Crow was waiting for them with his hit squad. He laughed like a madman. "Ryan, you just won't, D." Bradley rushed forward, throwing a powerful boxing hook. Ryan dodged, blocked with a kung fu technique, and landed a rapid combination of punches to Bradley's face. Bradley drew a knife and slashed, cutting Ryan's arm. Ryan retaliated with a Muay Thai kick to the chest that knocked Bradley backward. Suddenly, a helicopter appeared in the sky, spraying the yard with gunfire. Ryan pulled Claire and Harold behind a wall. Anna fired back, hitting one of the gunners on board. Ryan threw a grenade, and the helicopter erupted in flames, crashing down like a fiery meteor. More assassins rushed in, and Ryan fought them hand to hand, breaking one's arm with jiu-jitsu and shooting another with his pistol. Anna provided cover, sniping with her rifle from afar. They fled into the forest near the villa, with Bradley's men hot on their trail. Ryan turned, using a taekwondo kick to send a guard's gun flying before shattering his face with a punch. Harold suddenly stopped, panting heavily. "I can't keep going," he said, his eyes on Claire. "Get her out of here." "Ryan?" Before Ryan could respond, Harold pulled a grenade and charged back towards the pursuing soldiers. "Run," he yelled. Ryan dragged Claire away, with Anna following close behind. A thunderous explosion ripped through the air. Harold had sacrificed himself, taking the assassins with him. Claire cried out, her heart racing in her chest. Ryan held her tight, tears rolling down his own cheeks. "He saved us," he whispered, his voice thick with grief. Anna touched his shoulder. "We have to keep going." They took cover in the woods, finding a derelict cabin to hide in. Ryan checked Claire's pacemaker. She was stable but weak. He tried the USB with his phone but still couldn't decrypt it. Victor has power in both France and Spain. Anna said, "We need to go to his main base in Provence." France. Ryan nodded, his heart still aching for Harold. Back in France, Bradley had survived the blast, his face scarred with burns. He called Victor. Ryan escaped. "But I have the USB." Victor roared into the phone. "Bring it here now," Bradley just laughed. "I'm holding on to it." And the price just went up. He knew the drive was the perfect tool to blackmail Victor. He sent another hit squad to Spain, obsessed with killing Ryan. Ryan, Anna, and Claire got in the car, heading for France. On the way, assassins attacked. A truck sped towards them, trying to ram them. Ryan spun the car around and rammed it back, causing the truck to flip over. Assassins jumped out. Using kung fu for close combat, Ryan countered with aikido, throwing one down and shooting another with his handgun. Anna used a rifle, sniping from the back seat and taking down 3 men. They escaped the ambush, but Ryan had been stabbed in the thigh and was bleeding. He gritted his teeth and kept driving. Claire clung to Anna, terrified. "You'll be okay, kid," Ryan said, trying to comfort her. But he knew the final battle in France would be even more brutal. In Provence, Victor was preparing his final plan. He knew Ryan was coming, and he was ready with a team of elite assassins, state-of-the-art weapons, and Suzanne Brewer, who was secretly plotting her own move. Ryan gripped his gun, his eyes flashing with fury. He was fighting not just for Claire, but for everyone who had died at Victor's hands. The lake shimmered under the moonlight in Provence, France. Reflecting the silhouettes of the two adversaries, Ryan Cooper stood on the shore, blood from the stab wound in his thigh soaking his pants. But his eyes burned with determination. Facing him was Bradley Crowe, a crazed smile spreading across his scarred face. He clutched a knife, his voice a low growl. "You're hard to kill, Ryan. But tonight you do." Claire was safe with Anna Diaz in a nearby abandoned house. But Ryan knew this fight was not just for the girl, it was for everything Victor Lang had destroyed. Bradley lunged, throwing a powerful hook punch with his boxing skills. Ryan dodged, using taekwondo to land a high kick to his chest, pushing him back a few steps. He laughed, pulling out a handgun and firing repeatedly. Ryan rolled across the grass as a bullet grazed his shoulder, drawing more blood. He leaped up, using jiu-jitsu to put Bradley in a chokehold, but he countered with a karate chop, forcing Ryan to let go. They struggled on the lake's edge, trading blows. Ryan landed a Muay Thai elbow to Bradley's face, hearing the crack of his nose breaking. Undeterred, Bradley stabbed Ryan in the shoulder. He roared in pain, his blood staining the water's surface red. He countered with aikido, throwing Bradley into the lake. Water splashed everywhere as they wrestled in the freezing current. Bradley choked Ryan, forcing his head underwater. Ryan struggled, using kung fu to punch him in the gut, making Bradley choke and gasp. He surfaced, dragging Bradley with him, and delivered a barrage of punches to his face. "Your time is up," Ryan growled. Suddenly, Suzanne Brewer emerged from the shadows, a rifle aimed squarely at them. "Stop, Ryan," she yelled. He stopped, bunting heavily. Bradley smirked. "Getting to his feet, I told you. You're dead." But Suzanne fired unexpectedly, not at Ryan, but at Bradley's backside. He screamed, falling back into the water. "I'm tired of Victor," Suzanne said, her voice cold. She tossed a gun to Ryan. Finish it. Ryan caught the gun but hesitated. Suzanne was Bradley's assistant, but she had betrayed both sides. He did not trust her. Bradley seized the moment, lunging up and landing a boxing punch to Ryan's face. He staggered, blood trickling from his lip. Ryan countered with a Muay Thai low kick to Bradley's knee, making him buckle. He jumped into the water, pulled Bradley up, and put him in a chokehold. Bradley struggled, slashing wildly with his knife and cutting Ryan's leg. He gritted his teeth, smashed Bradley's jaw with a punch, and pushed him underwater again. The lake was stained red with blood. Bradley grew weaker but still managed a laugh. Victor will kill everyone. Ryan said nothing, plunging a knife through his chest. Bradley stopped breathing, his eyes wide open. Ryan stood up, bunting, his body aching. Suzanne walked over. The USB is in Spain. Victor has it. Ryan nodded, but his eyes were wary. Whose side are you on? He asked. Suzanne gave a faint smile. The side that survives. They returned to the abandoned house where Anna and Claire were waiting. Claire threw her arms around Ryan, sobbing. Are you okay? He stroked her hair, his heart aching for Harold. Anna checked Ryan's wounds. You need a doctor. But there was no time. Suzanne revealed Victor is at an old castle in France, preparing to destroy the USB and all the evidence. He has a team of elite assassins. She warned. Ryan, Anna, and Suzanne got in the car, heading for the castle. On the way, Victor's assassins ambushed them. A truck sped towards them, trying to ram their car off the road. Ryan spun the wheel, ramming back and causing the truck to explode. Assassins jumped out, attacking with kung fu. Ryan fought in close combat using taekwondo to kick a gun from one man's hand, then shooting another with his handgun. Anna sniped from the back seat, taking down 3 men with her rifle. Suzanne used a knife, stabbing one through the neck as blood sprayed. They arrived at the castle in Provence, France. Guards patrolled, machine guns at the ready. Ryan infiltrated over the back wall, silently taking out 2 men with his knife. Anna and Suzanne followed, providing sniper cover from a distance. They entered the main hall, where Victor stood surrounded by his assassins. Ryan, you're persistent. Victor laughed, holding the USB. But the game is over. Ryan charged, using Muay Thai to kick the first assassin in the chest. He fired his handgun, taking down 2 men. Victor ran up the stairs, and Ryan gave chase. An assassin blocked his path. Using jiu-jitsu to apply a chokehold, Ryan broke his arm and threw him down with Aikido. Anna and Suzanne fought in the hall below, shooting and trading blows continuously. An explosion shook the castle. A guard had detonated a grenade. Ryan chased Victor up a high tower. Victor fired his pistol, a bullet whizzing past Ryan's ear. He leaped forward, using a karate chop on Victor's hand, making him drop the USB. Ryan grabbed it, but Victor stabbed him in the back. Ryan roared, punching Victor in the face with a kung fu strike and knocking him down. You've lost, Ryan said, blood flowing from his back. But Victor laughed. You have no idea who is behind me. A helicopter appeared, strafing the tower with gunfire. Ryan took cover behind a stone pillar, pulling Victor in front of him as a shield. He screamed as bullets riddled his body. Ryan jumped onto the castle roof, running towards Anna and Claire. They made it outside, but the assassins were still in pursuit. Ryan knew the fight was not over. The old castle in Provence, France, shook with explosions and thick smoke. Ryan Cooper leaped down from the tower roof, blood from the stab wound in his back soaking his shirt. But he did not stop. Claire and Anna Diaz were waiting in the courtyard, their eyes filled with worry. Susanne Brever, who had just betrayed Bradley Crowe, went after Ryan, a rifle slung over her shoulder. The USB containing evidence of Victor Lang's crimes was in Ryan's hand, but he knew its price was the lives of his entire group. Victor, though wounded, was still alive, and the power behind him was closing in. Ryan led the group through the forest near the castle, the roar of a helicopter overhead. Victor's assassins emerged from the shadows. Unleashing a hail of machine gun fire, Ryan pushed Claire to the ground, used a Muay Thai kick to send one man's gun flying, then shot another with his handgun, a headshot that sent blood spraying. Anna sniped from a distance, taking down 3 men with her rifle in a flash. Suzanne used her knife, stabbing one man through the chest, his blood staining the grass. They took refuge in an abandoned warehouse. Locking the door, Ryan checked on Claire. She was breathing heavily, her pacemaker beeping. "Mr. Ryan, I'm scared," Claire whispered. He held her close, his voice low. "I will get you home." Anna checked the USB on an old laptop they found in the warehouse. The screen displayed a list of Victor's shady operations, trafficking national data, assassinating agents, bribing officials. He turned the CIA into his personal killing machine, Anna said, her voice trembling with rage. Suzanne interjected, "Victor has backers in Spain and Washington. We have to get the USB to the press." Ryan nodded, but his eyes remained wary. Suzanne had betrayed Bradley, but her loyalty was still a question mark. He secured the USB in a necklace and decided to go to Barcelona to meet a press contact. The group got in a car, driving through the night towards Spain. On the highway, assassins ambushed them. A truck sped towards them, trying to run their car off the road. Ryan spun the wheel, ramming back and causing the truck to explode. Assassins jumped out, attacking with kung fu. Ryan fought in close combat, using a high taekwondo kick to shatter one man's jaw. He shot 2 others with his handgun. Anna used her rifle, sniping with precision. Suzanne used jiu-jitsu to throw one man to the ground, then stabbed him in the neck. They arrived in Barcelona, hiding out in a small hotel. Ryan contacted a freelance journalist, but before he could hand over the USB, assassins attacked. The first one burst through the window, delivering a horizontal karate chop. Ryan dodged, using jiu-jitsu to get him in a chokehold and break his neck. A second man fired a handgun, the bullet grazing Ryan's shoulder. He rolled, picked up a knife from the first man's body, and threw it into the second man's chest. Anna sniped from the hallway, taking down 3 men. Suzanne used a pistol, shooting down 2 others. Ryan gave the USB to the journalist, but Victor already knew. He appeared on a video screen from France. "Ryan, you think the press can save you? I have people everywhere." Ryan roared, "You're finished." Victor. But Victor laughed. "Claire will die first." He sent an elite assassination team to the hotel. The assassins opened fire, shattering the glass doors. Ryan pulled Claire behind the reception desk, used a Muay Thai kick to send one man's gun flying, then shot another with his handgun. Anna sniped from the stairs, taking down 4 men. Suzanne threw a smoke grenade, blinding the enemy. Ryan charged in, using Aikido to throw one man down and then smashing another's face with his fist. Blood splattered across the floor as the hotel became a war zone. They escaped outside and ran to the port of Barcelona. Ryan found a speedboat, planning to get Claire out of Spain, but Victor appeared, leading his team of assassins. "Give me the USB," he roared, holding a machine gun. Ryan pushed Claire behind him and charged at Victor. They fought fiercely. Victor threw hook punches with his boxing skills, and Ryan countered with kung fu, delivering a flurry of punches to his face. Victor stabbed Ryan in the hip, blood pouring out. Ryan gritted his teeth and kicked Victor in the chest with a taekwondo strike, knocking him down. Anna provided covering fire, taking down 2 assassins. Suzanne suddenly turned her gun on Victor, shooting him in the leg. "I am done with you," she said. Ryan grabbed the USB from Victor's hand, but a helicopter appeared and opened fire. Ryan pulled Claire and jumped into the water, swimming towards the speedboat. Anna and Suzanne followed, firing back from a distance. They drove the speedboat out of the port. But Victor was still alive, pulled onto the helicopter by his men. In Washington, the powers protecting him, high-ranking officials, erased all the evidence. The press received the USB, but Victor escaped justice. Ryan looked at Claire, knowing she was safe. But his heart was heavy. "He will be back," he said. Anna took his hand. "We will hunt him down." Suzanne nodded, her expression mysterious. Ryan held Claire, preparing for the next battle. The speedboat raced across the sparkling sea off the coast of Barcelona, Spain, the waves crashing hard against its hull. Ryan Cooper gripped the wheel tightly, blood from the stab wound in his hip, soaking his shirt. But his gaze remained ice cold. Claire sat huddled beside him, her pacemaker beeping, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. Ana Diaz stood at the bow, rifle at the ready, scanning the horizon. Susanne Brever, who had just betrayed Victor Lang, sat in silence, her expression unreadable. They had just escaped a bloody pursuit, but Ryan knew Victor was still alive, and the war was not over. The sky trembled with the sound of helicopters. Ryan looked up to see 3 of them emerging from the darkness, their searchlights sweeping across the sea. "They are here," Anna shouted, reloading her rifle. Ryan accelerated the speedboat, sending spray flying. Assassins in the helicopters opened fire with machine guns, bullets tearing through the water like a storm. Ryan swerved the boat, dodging a volley of bullets, but one grazed his shoulder, drawing more blood. He gritted his teeth and yelled, "Anna, shoot!" Anna took aim, downing a man on the helicopter, whose body fell into the sea. Suzanne used a handgun to hit a fuel tank, causing one chopper to ignite and plummet like a shooting star. Ryan steered the speedboat into a reef area, hoping to make things difficult for the helicopters. But the assassins jumped onto another boat and gave chase. The first one leaped onto their speedboat, throwing a karate chop. Ryan dodged, used jiu-jitsu to put him in a chokehold, snapped his neck in an instant, and then tossed the body into the water. The second man fired his handgun, the bullet grazing Claire. The little girl screamed, and Ryan pulled her behind a seat for cover. He used a low Muay Thai kick, breaking the assassin's leg, then finished him off with his handgun. Anna sniped from the bow, taking down 3 men on the enemy boat. Suzanne used a knife to stab one man through the chest, blood splashing onto her face. Ryan looked at Suzanne, still suspicious. "What's your game?" She gave a faint smile. "Saving your life. Isn't that enough?" They made landfall near a fishing village in Spain. Ryan led the group into an abandoned warehouse and locked the door. Claire trembled, hugging him tightly. "Uncle Ryan, I want to go home." He stroked the little girl's hair, his voice low. "We will soon." Anna checked her laptop and saw the news. The press had published the data from the USB, but powerful forces in Washington were covering it up to protect Victor. "He got away," Anna said, her voice laced with anger. Ryan clenched his fists. Victor was at his chateau in Provence, France, planning his revenge. Ryan knew he had to face him one last time. They got into a car and headed for France. On the way, assassins ambushed them. A truck charged at them, trying to run their car off the road. Ryan swerved and rammed it back, causing the truck to explode. Assassins jumped out, Attacking with kung fu, Ryan fought them in close combat. Using a high taekwondo kick to shatter one man's jaw, Anna fired her rifle. Taking down 3 men, Suzanne used Aikido to throw another man down, then plunged a knife into his neck. They arrived at the chateau in Provence, France, where Victor was hiding. Guards patrolled with machine guns at the ready. Ryan infiltrated over a back wall, silently taking out 2 guards with his knife. Anna and Suzanne followed, providing sniper cover from a distance. They entered the main hall to find Victor standing in the middle of his team of assassins. "Ryan, you are a true fool." Victor sneered, a pistol in his hand. "Did you really think the press could take me down?" Ryan charged forward, delivering a Muay Thai kick to the chest of the first assassin. He fired his handgun, taking down 2 men. Victor fled up a tower with Ryan in hot pursuit. An assassin blocked his way. Attempting a jiu-jitsu chokehold, Ryan broke the man's arm, used Aikido to throw him to the ground, and then stabbed him through the heart. Down in the hall, Anna and Suzanne fought on with a flurry of gunfire and blows. An explosion shook the chateau as a guard detonated a grenade. Ryan chased Victor to the top of the tower. Victor fired his pistol. The bullet whistling past Ryan's ear, he lunged forward, delivering a karate chop to Victor's hand and making him drop the gun. Victor stabbed a knife into Ryan's hip, blood pouring from the wound. Ryan roared in pain and landed a kung fu punch to Victor's face, clocking him down. "It's over," Ryan said. But Victor just laughed. "You have no idea who's really behind me." Suzanne there appeared, shooting Victor in the leg. "I've chosen my side, Ryan," she said. Ryan picked up the gun but didn't shoot. He handed Victor over to Anna and said, "Give him to the press." They got Claire out, fighting through the remaining assassins. Ryan carried the little girl as they ran through the moonlit forest. Victor was captured, but Ryan knew a much larger power was still hiding in the shadows. They reached a small village in France to lay low. Ryan looked at Claire, his heart both relieved and haunted. He was a ghost, unable to rest. Anna took his hand. "We'll continue." Suzanne nodded, a mysterious look in her eyes. Ryan stood on a hill, looking up at the sky. The war was not over, and he was ready.